All right, Augie, we've been asked to comment on James Ollie's excellent piece where he asked the question, can Arsenal screw this up? You know, what would need to happen for us to screw this up? And by the way, Arsenal fans, please chill out. He's not saying that they're going to screw it up. We don't believe they're going to screw it up. You believe, in fact, that Arsenal are going to be champions. What we're saying is, what can't happen? What must they avoid if they're going to do this? Now, the lead is 8 points. City have a game in hand, and they have the head-to-head. So we're going to take as read that City have to win their game in hand, and they're going to beat Arsenal at the head-to-head, right? If we take those as things as read, just for this exercise, we're talking 2 points. What could derail that effort?
I think injuries are a big worry. You know, they've had a decent run so far this season. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus has missed a long period of time, but they survived without him and prospered without him, actually. I think the two players they can't afford to lose are Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard, with a little caveat thrown about Aaron Ramsdale in goal, because he's been very good this season. You needed a reliable goalkeeper. But I think Saka and Odegaard, to me, are the players that, you know, Saka is the guy, is the creator up front, he scores goals, he's the talisman. Odegaard controls the games. Two players that you probably argue are contenders for Football of the Year, so they need them to stay fit. But that isn't in Arsenal's control, is it? That's something that's not Arsenal slipping up. That's just things that could derail them, as we say.
So I disagree a little bit with you in the sense that I agree. Saka and Odegaard have been Arsenal's two best players this year. I do think with the addition of Trossard, you have solutions if Saka goes down. If Saka goes down, you know, you can play Trossard and Martinelli on the wings. You can, you know, put Jesus out wide and Nketiah incorporate. You can find suboptimal solutions perhaps, but I don't think you need to go and change the way you play necessarily. Odegaard's a bit different because Smith Rowe, if he'd been productive all season, might have done an Odegaard impression, but he hasn't been. And should Odegaard go down, whether you go with Fabio Vieira, whether you do what I would imagine they would do, maybe a bit more conservative, and put Georgie in the midfield with Xhaka and Thomas Partey, it means changing the way you play. And I think you don't want to make an adjustment when you've got so much great momentum going. Changing the way you play also was what would happen should Zinchenko go down. You know, Kieran Tierney, great player, but very different player, interprets that left back position very differently. So those things that make you adjust things, I think, are often really important. I agree with you on Ramsdale. That's one where we agree on. Simply, it's not a knock on Matt Turner, but it's just I haven't seen enough of him, of how he plays the position, that he's not just qualitatively inferior to Ramsdale, probably, but Ramsdale gives you a lot of other elements with his enthusiasm, with his leadership, despite his young age. My concern, though, Augie, would be in central defense, in the sense that I think there's a huge drop in terms of chemistry, but also in terms of just ability between Saliba and Gabriel on one hand. Kiwior is a fine player, but he's just arrived. Whether you get into Rob Holding territory, you know, move Tomiyasu in the middle or Ben White in the middle. Like moving Ben White, for example, when he's had a really productive run at fullback with Saka against them, that would create another knock-on effect. So I think actually those, my three, I wouldn't put Saka in there, which seems counterintuitive. I'd look at those things as being big factors to potentially derail them. I
think also they've got a game at Anfield before they got to City. Now, as we know, Liverpool are capable of beating any team on the day. Or they've had a strange season, Liverpool. But if they lose at Anfield before they got to City, that could inject the so-called jitters. You know, that the kind of the nerves set in, and maybe they worry about are they going to do it. But beyond that, I think you disagree with this. They've got Chelsea at home, they've got Newcastle away. I don't really see any games that I'm thinking this Arsenal team can't go and win. So I think Liverpool away is the key for me. If they emerge from that game without having been beaten, I think they're going to win the league.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.